So hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Now this video is actually made up of two different sessions. One of them was the very first day of the river season, June 16th, where I went out just for a few hours, and the other one was actually today. I've been out this morning just for a few hours, first light. But the aim of the game was to catch my first barbel or two of the river season. Obviously most people's aims when the river season opens is to go for that beautiful bar of gold. But not only that, I've also got an underwater camera down in the swim both days to try and capture some cool underwater footage and fingers crossed capture the take on camera. Now I know how that's gone so far and it's gone very well, so make sure you stay in tune and watch this video. The main baits I'm using are some robin red pellets and robin red meat. I tend to like matching the bait that's going in, so if I'm feeding robin red pellets I'll fish like a robin red meat. If I'm fishing halibut pellets I might fish a larger halibut pellet on the hook or halibut pellet flavoured meat or something. So that's the aim of the game. Hopefully we catch lots of fish. I know how this goes, you're going to find out right now. Let's head to session one and I'll show you how that went. So on the first day of the river season, usually I'll go to just a hot spot just to try and get a few bites on the first day. But this time I decided to do things differently. I went out miles into the countryside where nobody really goes and tried to bait up a few swims for potentially unknown and unfished for fish. And it didn't go very well. I spent about an hour and a half to 2 hours baiting up a number of different swims which looked amazing. Beautiful overhanging trees, plenty of streamer weed, gravel bars, sand, and the most I got feeding was probably a few roach and the odd chub that wandered through. Nothing spectacular. So after wasting the majority of my morning, I decided to start heading back towards some more popular areas, and lo and behold I found a swim that had a good amount of fish, and this swim held probably 15 to 20 chub ranging between about £2 up to probably over £5, and I spent a good little bit of time there just to warm me up ready for doing some barbel fishing. The setup that I was using was the Akuma custom black feeder paired up with the Samar HD 4000 reel and £8 line. So this swim did produce me a few fish. I was just fishing meat on a link ledger into the middle of the swim, feeding a few pellets, had some action, had the first fish, it was probably about £3. I also landed another one which was probably a little bit bigger, and I also lost a good sized chub too, which would have been well over £5, which was really unfortunate. But now it was time to look for the barbel, so I decided to head further back down the river to an even more popular area which gets heavily fished, and I was actually surprised to find nobody there. So I got straight out there, a few handfuls of the robin red pellets, once again meat put straight onto the hook, cast over to the far bank. Fingers crossed this will produce our first barbel of the season. There we go. Fish on, fish on. Yes. Is it the barbel we're after? Is it the barbel we're after? No, definitely not. Oh, I'm more pleased with this fish. I am way more pleased with this fish than I am a barbel. I've not caught an eel in years. I have not caught an eel in probably about 5 years, maybe more. Ah, oh, so cool. Going backwards, there we go. I am chuffed to bits. Oh, look at that. He managed to unhook himself in the net as well. Now, apologies about the lighting, guys. Jesus Christ, it's bright. But I'm going to have to show you this guy. It has been years since I've caught one of these guys. This is a European eel. They're actually an endangered species, so you've got to take good care of them. They're slippery, guys. You can barely hold on to them. But they're so cool, and I haven't caught one in years. They're in massive decline, especially in my local waterways. Like I say, it's probably been maybe 7 or 8 years since I've caught one of these guys. And I'm happier to catch this guy than I am a barbel, because that is a really good sign. There we go, fish on, fish on. That's a barbel. Good one too. Oh, come on. There we go. Beautiful fish there. Still probably about £7. Oh, there we go. We got him. Oh, a bit bigger than I thought. Might be about 8.5. That barbel we caught was an absolutely fantastic fish to kick off this season. It was probably a fish of between 8.5 and £9. Real nice big framed fish and a real good way to kick it off. But it was time to end my session there. There was another guy looking for areas to fish for barbel, and seeing as I'd caught one, I decided to give him my swim and head home a bit earlier on to help take the kids to school. So before we get on with this morning's session, it is very early. We've just got some bait in the swim, barbel are feeding. I've even put a camera down there to hopefully capture some cool shots. I'm just going to show you the rig I've been using this entire session. Well, entire video, so first session and now this one. It's really simple. We've got a link ledger made up of a bulk of shots. Obviously take them off and add some depending on how much I want it to stick to the bottom or if I want it to move and roll down the swim. Super simple, £8 hook length. This is probably one of the simplest forms of fishing, and just a size 12 hook. No herring on there. I'm just putting the meat straight onto the hook, because these barbel, when they feed, you'll see on the underwater footage, with the mouths being downturned, they basically have the mouth on the bottom almost all the time. So when they pick up your hook bait, you don't particularly need a super snazzy rig to be able to hook them, because with the mouth being downturned all the time and stuck to the bottom, when your hook bait goes in, there's very little chance of the barbel being able to spit it back out. Generally when they suck it in, that's it, you'll get a fish hooked. Even fishing as light as I am today, I've caught loads of barbel freelining where they've actually hooked themselves. They've got such soft rubbery mouths that they actually get hooked up quite easily, and actually a smaller hook is normally better. Finer wire, fine gauge, hooks up real easy to these fish, and hopefully we'll get some more this morning. Oh, that was quick. That was quick. That feels like a barbel. That feels like a barbel. Definitely is. Do you want to put that bait in then? But in this swim no longer than, well, fishing it no longer than about 5 minutes. That is a barbel. So that piece of meat, size 12 hook, can't get much simpler. These barbel never want to give up, do they? Come on, we're going to try and take him this time. Come on. We got him, we got him. We got it. And that is a very welcome river barbel. Very lean, very long. Obviously the spawn maybe a month or two ago. That is absolutely gorgeous. I don't know if you can tell on the footage, I dropped the meat in. It must have been the moment that it touched the bottom, this fish picked it up. Absolute powerhouse. Took me everywhere. Not quite as big as the one I caught on that first day of the season, but absolutely beautiful fish for this morning, and caught it within about 5 minutes of fishing. Right, I think there's 2 more barbel feeding down there, so we'll see if we can get another one. We go on. We go on. Whoa. God, I have to wait a little bit for that one. This is the smallest one in the swim, I believe. You know, it's coming quite quick. I was going to move swims though. I've started baiting a swim upstream, which I know saw maybe 1 or 2 barbel moving in. But I thought I'd try spot one more time because I did know there was still some fish down there. Oh, almost had him then. Oh, he's just got in and out of the net. Yep. Dived him straight in. Still got loads of fight in him. Because we didn't tire him out. We actually saw an opportunity. He'd kited around and was coming out into the slack. So I put my net down and he basically swam straight into it. Which is great because it means he's not going to be super tired. Now you guys won't be able to see this, but the meat has actually gone right down that barbel's mouth. Right at the back, so I'm going to have to get some pliers to unhook that. Can't actually believe just how well that fish took it. Just unhooked him. Oh, I'll get that leaf off him. But yeah, absolutely nailed that chunk of robin red meat. It was right down the back of his throat. I was actually watching the barbel feeding down in the water, and I saw a group of 2 or 3 come swimming up, and I saw this one shake its head once under the water. As it shook its head once, I had one dip on the rod tip, lifted into it, and it was on. Absolutely nailed. I didn't even show you guys the release of that barbel because just as I was releasing it, another barbel turned up. Oh, I spooked him. He was feeding right in front of me. So all I did was I just let the fish go. He'd been rested a little while anyway. What a good sign though. I didn't think they'd even come back. Oh, there we go, there we go, there we go. Literally just dropped it down to the margin. It's barbel number 4 hooked, and if I land it, it'll be barbel number 3 landed, so fingers crossed. That was so frigging cool. Got me into a snag, probably shouldn't have loosened the drag off. Oh, there we go. Got to be a bit careful with these fish. Oh! Guys, I made a big mistake then. The barbel had gone into a snag on the far side, or into the weed rather. And 9 times out of 10 when that happens, what I do is I just give a little bit of slack line and they swim out. But that time, what I did was I held the reel, so there was no give on the drag. I decided to pull, thinking it was stuck well into the snags, and try and pull it through. It wasn't. So I grabbed the reel, I've started pulling it to try and pull it through the snag I thought it was in, and it bolted off and instantly snapped the hook length. This line is plenty strong enough to land these fish, but obviously holding the clutch, absolutely no give whatsoever. Snapped off my size 12 barbless. Never mind, I think that's probably going to count the end of this session. I think I'm kind of spoiling myself a little bit. Caught 3 within 20 minutes of fishing, lost 1. We've just lost another one, but that's maybe an hour of fishing I've been out for, maybe an hour and a half. So I think I'll call it quits now. Right, so I think it's probably going to be time to wrap it up now. I'm going to have to take the kids to school soon. It looks like it's going to rain. The sun came up and then all of a sudden clouds came over, so it's probably a good time to make tracks anyway. What a fantastic video this has been. My first session you saw at the beginning was only about maybe 3 hours long. I had fantastic big barbel, maybe 8 or 9 pound. Beautiful eel that I managed to capture on the underwater camera as well, which was really cool, and obviously a few fantastic chub. Then this morning session, another cracker dawn one, only fished for maybe 2.5–3 hours, and I caught a few fantastic barbel. I caught a little baby one and a couple of really nice sized 5 or 6 pounders. Absolutely awesome bit of fishing. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. Hope you've enjoyed watching this underwater footage too. If you liked it, don't forget to like the video. If you want to, subscribe to see more, and I'll catch you guys later. And don't forget to check out the baits and the stuff I've used in the description below, because that meat has absolutely killed it this session.